Get the fuck out of my way! I won't win this! Thank you!
Oh, this one has been a long time coming. Folks, welcome back to Team Sport Coventry. It's been a good 4 months since the idea of us even doing Coventry as a track was thrown into the mix, between us having our little trip up and down the country, hitting what will hopefully be every Team Sport track. So to finally get the entire crew down to Coventry, my home track, and show on what Team Sport really has to offer was absolutely incredible. I may or may not be a little bit biased as I say that, but at the end of the day, it was just nice to be home and be on track with a group of genuinely amazing people. Speaking of the crew, it's all the usual faces again today. We've got Ryan, Helgast, Josh, Becca, Bunny, Ryan Goes Karting, Karts Against Humanity, the big man himself, PericoKarting, and we were lucky enough to be joined by one of Coventry's most elite members right now, George. Now, having raced these guys a fair amount now, it's safe to say I've started to learn their strengths and weaknesses quite well. And believe me when I tell you all, the strengths far outweigh the weaknesses. And to make things worse, a couple of these guys are fairly frequent members around Coventry. Karts Against Humanity and Ryan are both semi-regulars here. Their home track is Dunstable, but Dunstable is a fairly similar track in feel and layout to Coventry, so it's a cause for concern knowing that they could be right on my bumper at any given moment. Bunny started karting at Coventry around about the same time as me, coming up on 2 years ago, and they've got a mean defense, so they were again a cause for concern. And arguably the biggest challenge that I was expecting to face during this race was Perico himself. He's had a few less than ideal races around Coventry, and we all went into the race knowing that he would be out with a vengeance, so if he got anywhere near us at any point, it would be the defense of a lifetime to even hold him up, let alone keep position against him. On the flip side though, two of our group have never raced at Coventry before. Becca and Josh went in completely blind to this race, having looked at a couple of hot laps in the car park before we went inside, but that was it. Beyond that, they were completely blind. Regardless of what happened for them though, it was going to be a good day because we actually did this race for their birthdays. I've already said it, but Becca, Josh, I'm sure you'll watch this, so happy birthday guys. Hope you had a great time at Cov, and hopefully the results didn't sway your opinion of it too much. Now, Coventry is one of the shorter tracks of the Team Sport umbrella at just 500 metres, but it is held in quite high regard as one of the grippiest and most technical circuits within the company. So I think it's worth us taking a minute just to go and show you what an ideal lap looks like and see the racing line in action. So here we are then, starting the lap. You want to flow all the way out to the right hand side, tuck into both of the apexes here, keeping fairly to the middle, hitting both apexes through the upstairs sweeper, stay into the middle again, coming in tight and then flowing out wide on the down ramp entry, trying to keep quite close to both apexes as you go to the bottom of the down ramp, then middle tight, and all the way out again. Big old stomp of the brakes as you go over that black patch of concrete, keeping fairly tight but neat through the S-bend, running out to the middle of the track as you come out from the mezzanine, following the walls it steps around to the left, keeping tight in on the pit bend, again tight as we go onto the up ramp, making use of all of that track, running all the way over to the left, tight into the apex, and then running straight back down towards turn 1 to finish up the lap. Very technical, but quite easy to get the hang of once you've been around it a few times. But that's enough talk about the racing line for now. We're up here on the grid. Starting in P2, I've got Helgast alongside me on pole position, Josh behind him in P3, and behind me we've got Ryan in P4. The grid is a full 16 today, maximum capacity at Coventry. We filled out with a couple of members and a couple of staff members from Cov, so it was looking like it would be a real tough battle. Now, as I mentioned, it was Becca and Josh's birthday. That was the reason we did this race, so we had a little bit of a surprise in store for them. Some of you may know, I am actually a staff member at Team Sport Coventry, and the other staff member that's just walked down the middle of the grid, stood against the tyre barriers there, that is Matthew. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for a few years, and we happened to get the job at Team Sport on separate occasions, but we're still good friends now. So with a little bit of string pulling from him, we had a bit of a surprise for them.
Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to Josh and Becca! Happy birthday to you!
So as you can see, that went down an absolute treat with Josh and Becca, but we've got no time for pleasantries as we go to 5 red lights. and the lights go green and it's foot to the floor at Team Sport Coventry. Josh has made an absolutely bombastic dive to the inside as we go into turn 1. A little bit of contact from me and Helgas as I tap him on the rear there, but I've had a little bit of a boost from Josh behind, and that's given me the opportunity to make a quick run up the inside on the way to down ramp. As you can hear, absolutely elated to be leading my home race, and by 3 corners to do so as well. Absolutely biblical scenes. A little bit of a slide through S-bend there on the exit of the first of the 2 hairpins, trying to just keep it tight and neat and start to settle into that rhythm that we need. As everyone behind starts squalling for positions, that's going to give me all of the time that I need to try and build out that gap and give myself a nice buffer for when everyone behind inevitably starts to close in on me. And speaking of closing in, we've got Josh behind now. He started off in P3, managed to make a nice move to get into P2 in that opening squabble with me and Algast. And he's holding that gap very nicely. You wouldn't think that he's never even driven or seen the track before, so really impressive work from Josh there. Just trying to follow my line as best he can and get himself ready for when everyone behind starts to close in and really give him a bit of a run for his money. But now it's time for us to just lock in and get in some good laps, start to build up that gap and hopefully keep away all of the people behind that are going to start giving me some trouble. So we'll fast forward on to the start of lap 9 now, back on board with Josh. Just up in the distance there, we can see I managed to pull out a nice healthy gap of about 6 or 7 seconds. But Josh has managed to get a little bit out of shape going through the sweeper and has fell victim to both Kyle and George in the space of a single corner, which is less than ideal for him. But for me, it's even worse as I've now got 2 of arguably the fastest people on this track starting to hunt me down.
Some time later.
So jumping forward to the start of lap 22 then, coming up on the first real major group of back markers in the form of Becca and Bunny. And I'm already getting a little bit worried as I'm starting to close the gap down on them there. Becca's just about noticing that there's someone coming up behind her, and Becca's normally quite good. She likes to get out of the way as soon as possibility that it's not going to mess up her race. Bunny, on the other hand, is a menace. Bunny, like I said, has been racing with me on and off for the past coming up on 2 years, and they know my racing style like the back of their own hand, probably better than they even know their own racing style. So the fact that we've even made it this far into the lap and I'm still struggling to even get an opportunity to get past them, I'm really starting to stress out now. I can tell that the gap behind is starting to get smaller and smaller. Looking off to the side there just as we go through turn 1, I can't see Kyle or George, who have really started to close the gap on me. Coming down from the down ramp now, I'm thinking maybe we can get a little sneak up the inside on the way into the sweeper, but Bunny's covered it off well before I can even have a look up there. And again, just tight and neat, absolutely no space for me to try and get the nose of the car in there. Stress is an understatement at this point. Coming through the pit bend once again then, just absolutely hounding at the back of Bunny's car, just trying to find any opportunity I can to get past as we now start on to lap 23. We've now got Helgast in front of us as well that we need to factor in. Not entirely sure what happened to him, but he's slipped further and further back in the field throughout the race, so another back mark to deal with. Coming down the ramp again now, another lap stuck behind Bunny, desperation really starting to creep in. Now you might have seen I've just lifted my hand up to the side of my helmet there. That's me engaging my helmet radio that me and Bunny both have, and I plan to make use of it in a slight adrenaline fueled last ditch effort. Yeah, like I say, adrenaline running very high there as we see Matt just leaning over the pit wall to wave the blue flag at Bunny just in case they haven't quite realised that they are the back markers being past it. But at the end of the day, I've used my manners, I've still said thank you afterwards, so you can't ask much more of me than that. And we couldn't ask much more of Helgast either, getting straight out of the way as we go into the upstairs sweeper. But now it's time to buckle up and get some more good laps in as we try our hardest to try and pull that gap back out between Kyle and George behind. Now, you've probably just noticed the little bit of screaming I've done there, doing my best impression of a wailing banshee. Now, that's because I've just about noticed that my cart's clutch is starting to disintegrate every time I put the loud pedal down. It's not caused any issues yet, but through the S-bend there's the first time that I really noticed it, and it's going to come back with dire consequences soon enough. Lucky for me, I've had a nice 3 or 4 lap grace period where I was able to just push in clean air and try and bring the gap back out a little bit. But coming into the end of lap 27, start of lap 28 here now, I'm catching up to Ryan, and all of a sudden those red and white boots have come flying into my peripheral vision down towards turn 1. But it's time for the gloves to come off. I've got Perico and George right behind me, so it's time for active defense every single corner. Ryan's gone for a little slide out to the nowheres at the bottom of the down ramp and waved me straight through, but if you switch to his position quickly, you'll see that he's had a little bit of a tangle with Perico and George coming into the downstairs sweep, who's just tried to get out of the way, but kind of pinched himself off the wall and bounced them into the nowheres, which is good for me, but not ideal for him. And then in even better circumstances, Perico's had an almighty slide out of nowhere. We still don't know what happened after a little post-race chat. Might have been a little bit fluid on the track surface, but I'm not going to complain. It's brought that gap back up for me. I've got more time to play with. But that time is already running out straight away. Perico and George both settling back into the rhythm that they need to bring that gap back down and put them in striking distance again, after getting collected by each other through that little slide on the pit bend. As you can see from my footage there, both of them starting to bring the gap further and further down. It's at this point that I'm really starting to feel the clutch just disintegrating under my right foot. There's still hope, but it's fading fast. So just fast forwarding on about another lap now, and I've nearly fell victim to the same slide that both Perico and George did. Absolutely certain at this point that there's some form of oil or condensation that's managed to make its way onto the track surface on the pit bend. But I've just about managed to catch just a little step of understeer as we go through the pit bend there. But I'm holding the gap as best I can. I can just feel the kart getting worse and worse every lap now. And I can feel the breathing straight down the neck of my race suit. I'm getting real worried at this point, but I know there's still that tiny shred of hope that I could bring this home. So jumping ahead around about another lap now, and Perico is well and truly breathing down my neck, having to throw a little bit of a defensive shape as we go up the ramp. As he's throwing the kart just around the outside, enough that it's in my peripheral vision, letting me know that he's there and he is coming for P1. A little tap on the rear from him there, just trying to get past any opportunity, throwing that kart to the inside at every chance, just trying to force me into a mistake. But now it's time to just truly lock in. I've said it before about 5 times, but this was the true moment of lock in and get the job done. So jumping forward another lap now, and it's full defensive shape every corner. Perico is well and truly just hounding at my heels now, giving him absolutely no opportunity for a move, trying to keep it tight and neat in every single corner. I cannot let him even try to put the car over the inside to scare me at this point, because if he even gets a quarter of a way alongside, that could be game over. Coming down through the down ramp, probably the best place to show just how careful I'm having to be, and hugging into the inside barrier, not even running out a little bit wider to try and get all of that traction down. But you can just hear the clutch starting to give out even more every time we come through the S-bend now. Just holding on for dear life to this position, tucking all the way in on the pit bend, arguably the most dangerous place for me, because if Perico goes for a normal line and gets the run out of the pit bend, it could well be the move made. Just sticking to me every corner, fully wheel to wheel as we go through turn 1 and turn 2. But I've managed to shove him out and get that line back to just me, giving me a little tap on the rear, just letting me know, yeah, I'm still here, mate, and I'm coming for that position if you didn't already know it. As we go down the ramp again, I'm shoulder checking every single corner, just trying to get a bead on where he is. But the desperation really starting to creep in now. I know that he is well within striking distance, and this could well be the end. But I'm not going down without a fight. I've already said it. This is my home track. It's the first time here with the entire crew. I'm not letting it slip away from me that easily. Perico again just letting me know he's there, putting the car inside every opportunity he gets. And then he's made an absolutely devious move to the inside on turn 1. It's rare that you see him move like that made, and I honestly thought that he'd had me there. But luckily we've managed to find the traction and get the power down and just keep that run up the inside so that he can't make the move stick. As we go down the ramp again, he is absolutely glued to me at this point. You'd be forgiven for thinking that it was one kart, not two, as we go through the S-bend. Back marker is just getting nicely out of the way. They can just sense the absolute scrap that's going on here. and thinking, yeah, I don't want to be involved in this. If I screw this race for someone, it's not going to end well. Just keeping every line as tight as I can, putting my car right in the middle of the track to try and make Perico second guess. Do I go for the inside? Do I go for the outside? And luckily enough for me, it's paid off so far. He's not been able to make the move stick. Yeah, that one stung. That one stung a lot. What's happened there is I've shoulder checked one too many times on the ramp, botched the braking, and Perico slipped through. But them's the brakes, there's no time for emotion in motorsport, so it's time to divert our attention to George behind. I know I've got no chance of catching up to Perico because he has the inhuman ability to just find pace on whatever track you put him on. And while I'm thinking that the race could well be done at this point, George already making a beautiful move up the inside on the ramp and trying to hold it out through the outside of turn 1. But we've given him a little friendly shove saying, no, I'm not giving you the place, I've already lost P1, I'm not giving up P2. Just trying to keep the line tight and neat again. Just hoping that if I stay close enough to Perico, there's a tiny, tiny slither of hope that he could make a mistake and I could take advantage of it. But he's already ripping off into the distance. The clutch well and truly shot now. It'd be quicker to push the car through some of these corners. George again having a little look around the outside, keeping the car in the middle of the track from me, just trying to give him absolutely no space for a move. But I've gone way too sharp into turn 1 and it's set George up for a switchback, and he's managed to make it stick going through turn 2. An absolutely delightful move, but not from my perspective because I've lost another place, not even a lap on from having the win snatched away from me. George, though, an absolutely incredible driver. He's one of the 7 people to have set a 39-second lap time around Cov, and the skill just keeps coming. It's a miracle that I was able to hold off against him and Perico combined for as long as I did. But now we've just got to settle into P3, try and find the rhythm again, and bring it home as P4 starts closing in behind me. We've still got a nice little buffer, but that buffer is going to drop more and more as the race goes on. But after all that, here we are, it's the start of the final lap. Luckily for me, I've not had too much to worry about since Perico and George got past me. I was able to sit back and just bring the car home and hope that the clutch would make it to the end. Just absolutely disintegrating even further, beyond disintegrating even. To give Josh a little bit of a way of going past there. We didn't see all too much of him, unfortunately. After Perico and George got past him, he just settled in to bring his car back across the line at the end of the race. But for the first time out, he gave it a brilliant effort, so well done, Josh. Coming through the pit bend for the final time then, just trying to keep it tight and neat, not give any opportunity that would give me a little bit of a slide or let P4 start to catch up. Through the final corner, we've not quite noticed the flag yet, but coming through turn 1. And so there we have it, folks. 50 laps around Team Sport Coventry, done and dusted. As we make our way out through the mezzanine and towards the pit bend for one final time and come into the pits for a few words of wisdom from Matt and a quick chat on the podium.
I nearly thought I had you just for a second. Well done. You fucking got it. Good man.
So folks, that's how it went. Perico finally brought home that long-awaited P1 redemption day at Team Sport Coventry for him. George coming in second, very, very close behind, absolutely snapping at his heels over those last couple of laps. And for us, well, I'll let past me do the talking for that.
P3, baby.
So there we have it, guys. That's the podium. Taking home a P3 at the first time getting the crew down here at Coventry. Safe to say I was quite annoyed that I lost the win in such a way, but bringing home P3, that somewhat makes up for it. And there's always next time. That's just motorsport. You pick yourself back up and get back in the saddle. There's a little bit more to come, but I'll save that for after the credit roll. See you next time. shallow. So, you're still here, huh? Guess you really wanted to see that extra footage. Well, I present to you a compilation of us all screaming.
Look at